Welcome to Sydney Modern Apps, React Native and .NET MAUI Comet tonight. This is me, Sam Sutherland, Technical Director at XAM Consulting. So I look after our technical team, our developers and our QAs, responsibility for the overall technical direction and strategy of the business, and ultimate responsibility for the technical decisions that get made in the tech team. So if something goes wrong, ultimately it's up to me to sort it out. My background is .NET, so I'll understand a little bit of what Jesse's talking about. Basrat probably not quite so much. I'm not a React guy, but so yeah, I'll be very interested in the sort of the introductory level that we're going to go through. A little bit about XAM, what we do. We make people's lives better by solving real problems through intelligent application of technology. That's in product design, product development, technical consulting, and managed services. So we can help in sort of all those areas all the way through the software development lifecycle. And we're hiring, so anybody that's looking for a new role or interested in talking to me, you can get a hold of me either of these places. samsutherland.com links through to my LinkedIn, so easy to remember. So tonight we are going to be not doing cybersecurity, ignore that. We are going to be doing React Native Get Started with Basrat and introducing Comet with Jesse. So with that, I shall hand it over to Basrat.
Thank you, Sam. Can you see me and can you see my screen?
We can see you. We can see your screen as well, yes.
And you can hear me, of course, because you've answered those questions. So hello everyone. I'm Basrat. I'm a Microsoft MVP. I have a YouTube channel, a lot of things. I have basrat.com as well. That's the easiest way to find me. Today I'll be talking about React Native. To get started, there are a few options. You can go bare metal, which means that you will be responsible for the iOS project as well as the Android project, or you can use this third-party tool, which is actually built by Facebook. The same team that was actually working on React Native, a part of that forked off, and they started to build this thing called Expo. And what this basically does is it sort of takes care of a lot of the native portions of it. So you don't have to manage the iOS folders and the Android folders yourself, because it comes with the shell of a native application that will then get bootstrapped with your JavaScript React Native code. Not all of that needs to make sense right now. It will by the end of this talk. This is the command to create one. And I just ran that in the background because I didn't want the network to suffer. But basically, it's executing this package, create Expo app. I'm using the TypeScript template. If you know me, I'm a big fan of TypeScript. Most people use TypeScript at this point. I would actually like to ask how many people in the room use TypeScript, but I can only see, I think it looks like a partition to the food section, so I won't be able to see your responses. Hey, so if people have questions during the talk, how do we do that?
I'll unmute. The mic is pretty good, so I think most of the room should be able to be picked up on it. If it's sounding all right for you, I'll leave it on and I'll
Sounds good. Perfect.
Here.
Perfect. Thank you. So yeah, so use the TypeScript template to build that, and I'm giving it the name demo XAM. As I mentioned, I've already done that. It creates this folder that contains all the source code that you need to get started with the basic React Native application. I'm opening it up within my IDE. As you can see, it is built using TypeScript. I think I will need it to be muted because I can hear an echo and it is very distracting. Thank you, Sam. So I assume a lot of people have used React. This React Native is really for people that know React and they want to use their React skills to build mobile applications. And you will be building actual native mobile applications. What is happening over here is that I have an app component that is returning a view. You can see that view is brought in from the React Native package, and then status bar is actually brought in from the Expo status bar, but you could actually just do this as well if I wanted to. So React Native comes with a built-in status bar component as well. I guess it doesn't have the style auto, but let's just go with this example. So from React Native, you get to build in a few packages. Thank you, Sam. That's much better. I love to see the people that I'm talking to. Yep, so we have the view, we have the text, we have the status bar. How do you run this? Well, you just run npm start. If you've done web development, that's pretty much the same command. This is right now within the package.json actually wired to expo start. So expo comes with the CLI. What this does is it'll actually, it comes with this app called Expo Go, which you can install on iOS as well as Android. And that's the shell of an application that can accept a JavaScript bundle. And then your JavaScript code will talk to the native side. This heavy lifting of talking from the JavaScript side to the native side is done by React Native. This is the second time I'm mentioning it. I'll mention it so many times that by the end, hopefully it'll make sense. So the Expo Go app is waiting to receive this particular bundle. I am on the same network right now, and I can go and share my iPhone screen, which you should be able to see over here. That was my Facebook, because that's what I was scrolling through while I was waiting for the thing to start. But I can scan this, and you can see it's asking me to open the Expo Go app. That's launched. And here you can see open up the app.tsx to start the working app, and that text is showing up on a native application on my mobile. What I can also do is actually start this using another command. You see this URL, right? This is a localhost URL. I can actually go to my phone and disable my Wi-Fi. Even though I've disabled my Wi-Fi, no, this is fine actually. Yeah, so now you can see this message at the bottom, disconnected from Metro. So Metro is basically something that is provided by the React Native core team, which is similar to Webpack on the website. That is, it's going to take your JavaScript bundle and ship it to a shell of a native application that can run your JavaScript. So that's what's actually disconnected right now because I've gone off network, and I won't be able to find this because this is not on, this is only on my local machine. I can actually run this command and pass in -- tunnel as well. And I'll just clear the tunnel so that I have a clean one. You'll see another thing. You'll see another thing happening here, which is tunnel connected, tunnel ready. What that means is that the Expo servers have registered this particular URL to start serving this application. So if you want to take out your phones and scan this, you will be able to see the running application on your phone as well. So I will scan this. So I can see that Sam scanned it. What happened, Sam? Did you? Then I can see you. You can say yes, no, or just like that's no. Okay, cool. But yeah, if he were to do it, he would get it as well. You can see it's bundling the JavaScript at the bottom. That message showed, and now this message popped up. Let's look at the kind of developer experience you get. So if I go, for example, hello Zam, then I like Sam from Zam. That's a cool, it's got a ring to it. Yeah, so that text showed up over there, that live reloaded all over the network, which means that if I wanted to actually send this QR code to a UX in the team, they would actually be able to scan this and see what I want to demo. I don't even have to push it to GitHub right now to get some thoughts on my awesome styles. That's that, but I can do something even better. I have a full developer setup on my local machine that includes Xcode, that includes Android Studio, which means that I can actually launch the iOS emulator if I wanted to, and launch the Android Android emulator if I wanted to. So I can just press the I key, which will open up the iOS simulator, and that's opening up an iOS simulator on my local machine. That is going to show the same thing that is connected to the same bundle that my actual physical iPhone device is connected to. And if I were to go and modify this over here, hello Sam again, or actually let's go Sam again. Cool. So you can see that it's live reloading on 2 devices. I'm just going to exit my phone now because let's just work with the local one. You don't need to have iOS set up locally and Android set up locally in order to use Expo, but you can do that as well. And that's normally the easiest path because then you don't need to have your phone out, look down, look up, look down, look up. It gets a bit tiring. So I have the iOS simulator on the left and I have my code running on the right. What is happening over here? Like if you've done React web development, you know that you can write a div and then the div gets magically as an element on screen. What is with this view and this text and this status bar? Fundamentally, these are abstractions into the native platform. So view is a component provided by React Native, which when React encounters, it will actually talk natively to, for example, an iOS UI controller and Android view controller, iOS UI view, sorry, and an Android view controller. So if you know those native terms, it's basically talking to the underlying native component. So this is actually a text component. This is not a web view running a div on your screen. This is a native platform text. It's going to be different for the different platforms. And React Native is basically an abstraction on top of that. Let's talk about some of the features provided out of the box over here. We've sort of seen the status bar, but not really. The best property on this is hidden. So you can hide the status bar if you wanted to, which is what I often do when I'm screen recording because I don't want people to know the time that I'm recording this at because I record it whenever. And when I cut through the different things, it feels like the time's jumping all over the place. Don't get distracted by the time. It is hidden. The text, what can we do here? Like one thing that you note over here is that we're using a lot of web technology. We're already using TypeScript, already using JavaScript. We're also using CSS. All right. I challenge to the audience, what does CSS stand for? I'll let Sam decide if the audience gives the right answer. Yes, cool. Cascading style sheets. And I hope I give the right answer as well. The main thing about CSS over here, so I can, for example, modify the background color to be something else. Let's just make this red. Or rather, let's go with the brand of ZAM, which is some form of blue. Probably not that blue, but blue. And then I will make the I will make the text color. So I can pass a style over here as well. And this is all CSS in JS. So I can, for example, do color over here, and I can make this white. Yep, so that shows up. But the interesting thing here is that it removes the one of the most awful, but some people believe the best portion of something that is a part of CSS, that is a part of the CSS name, which is cascade. So if I were to, for example, do this thing that, hey, this has the color white, that's not going to cascade. That's only going to apply to the view. That's not going to apply to its children. It's not going to magically pass through. And honestly, that is much more maintainable. So I like that more. I like the CSS being in general more reliable if it works on, because what's happening here is that it has its own layout engine and CSS engine built in, which is actually, it's like if someone told you, hey, you only have to work with one version of Chrome, it'll be like, yeah, I'm happy with that. And then if someone says you have to work with Chrome and Internet Explorer, you're like, I'm looking for a new job. I'll go to XAMPP and perhaps become a mobile React Native developer. So we have the text over here. We have the CSS being passed through, and we can create styles, pass the style directly over here as well. And probably that's really small, so I will actually bump up the font size. And you will notice that I am giving it a value, 24. I would love to interact with you and ask you, do you think that this is 24 pixels? I'm going to guess that some of you are going to think yes. And the answer is no. This is device independent pixels. What that means, not a significant difference. It's really just, yeah, it's not even funny. Device independent pixels, they are scaled according to the device. So this is 24 of like what if, because devices have high pixel resolutions, so it might be lighting 4 pixels over here for like that 1 pixel of your mathematical calculation. This is just getting very, very deep in the dirt. This is just, it's easier. You'd have to worry about less things. You have a bit less control. I mean, actually, you can go low level pixel as well if you wanted to, but by default, a lot of the stuff is abstracted and a lot of the stuff is more uniform than what you might experience on the web as well. What else can we do? We can make font weight bold because this is text. And you're noticing that the types are actually quite like the bold autocomplete came for me. That's because React Native ships with excellent type definitions maintained by the React Native team, which is actually perhaps better than the type definitions maintained for React core, which are maintained by the community, which means they sort of get out of sync with the version of React. Whereas this, the React Native team has taken the responsibility of making sure that the types always align. Okay, so that's the text component. What else can we do? Well, we all know how we debug things. We do it like this. And sometimes we do it like that. It was funny when I started typing this, but that took longer to type than I expected. But where do we see this console log? We see this over here, and you can see that over there. And fun fact, you see this R button? So I can press R over here and it would reload all devices. So I have this running over here as well. Oof, that's a big update. Yeah, so it'll come down eventually. You can see that it reloaded because my phone is still connected. I should probably disconnect it. Yeah, so that's console log. It works. Yay. What else can we do? We've talked about the view, we've talked about the text, the status bar. I'm just going to remove the status bar. Don't need that component. If I want to stop aligning the items, so Flexbox alignment, that's what's centering it. You can see it goes into a weird place. That's because I actually have pixel control over the entire screen, including portions which I should not draw to. To take care of these notch and other notch-like things that Android has, there is this thing called Safe Area View, which also comes from the React Native package. And this sort of, you can see that the background color blue is being applied to the Safe Area View because that is coming from the styles container. So the background is accepted, but all of the children are safely pushed away from things that you shouldn't render on. So that's the Safe Area View component. As I mentioned, it is Flex. So let's just go back to the, I just want to copy this and then I will redo everything. And I will paste this back in. I just want it in the center of the screen, not necessarily over there. So it supports Flexbox, which means that I could, for example, before the text, put in another view. I could style it. It's giving me some option. Let's see what those options mean. Yeah, that's a fixed height of 100 and 100. I wanted to demo the Flexbox, not the box model. So I will go Flex 1, and this will take as much space as it needs, as it is left to flex into after the text is done with taking its space. So you can see that over there, and then this is within the Safe Area View, that red box. I think blue normally goes better with the yellow, so I'm just going to change this into yellow. And now congratulations, we've built GeoCities on the mobile app. You can publish it to the App Store. You'll probably get one download, and that will be from my mom, because I'll tell her that they learned it from me, so it's a great app. Please download. I didn't want to make a your mom joke, so I had to bring my mom into this. Anyways, so we have the, I love to see your FaceTime because I want to see that you're laughing as well, because you're my monitor if these jokes are landing or not. View, text, Safe Area View, yellow. What else? So React, how do you create state within React? You use useState. So I can create that. So const, let's see if GitHub Copilot will be able to create this for me. So create a state for a name. Nope, not that. So that's just an example that, so I've tried this before and it has failed. So that was me actually hoping for it to fail. And I can see that some people are happy that AI is failing. AI has recorded this because this is getting recorded. And yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that joke. Name, set name is equal to C. I probably want the default name to be Sam. And I'll import useState from React. So your React knowledge of hooks still applies. Raise your hand if you know React. Would be weird if no one is. Thank you. Some raised. So yeah, so use state is something that you use to manage your React state. What I can do at this point is I can put in like an input over there. So what's the input element? Well, text input is what it calls it. I'm going to put this into the yellow section. Actually, right before the yellow section. I don't know where right now. Yeah, let's put it right before the button at the bottom. Text input. It's going to take a value. It's going to take the value of. I'm going to remove Sam from the meeting, joking, from the state, and value will be name. I'm going to wire it to that, and then I will go set value. Yeah, that's fine actually. Just don't need the selection color. On change text, I don't know if it's on change text. It is on change is what I'm looking for. Perhaps it is on change text. Actually, let's me. Probably the signature doesn't match, but I just want to set name to the new value. Sure, I wrote it down. I did not write it down. On set name to e.target.value. On change e. If it's value, then it should be value. So I'm gonna go change text. Maybe that's the function that I'm looking for. And it actually, you saw that it actually passes in the text already. So e is text. How did I see that? I saw that over here on change text, this passes in the new text. So therefore, that's the new text. So I'm just gonna do text. And fun programming thing, removing a function that takes a parameter and passes it to another function. When you remove it, you remove a one level of functional indirection. It's called an eta conversion. I don't know why that's useful, but that's a programming concept for you. On change name, set name. So the reason why I removed Sam from the meeting is because you can't see where I can input. It's supposed to be right after this yellow, right? But I do not see it. It is actually over here though. And the reason is, let me just move it to the top instead of the bottom. So you can see this, by the way, it preserved the state. So the previous things that I typed are still there. So fast refresh preserves the use state, that kind of web model thing is there as well. But the objective of a thing is that you want your inputs to be as stylable as possible. So it starts off with a bare bones thing. You can put a box around it to make it look like an input. You just have some area that the user can interact with to enter some text. To make it a bit better, let's add some styles to it. So style, I'll do like a border. I'll make it more geocities. Border width, I'll make it 10. I'll make it color white, because that seems to be the color of the day. The border is black. I really actually just leave the border, just make the font size a bit bigger. Font size, let's make it 24 because I've used that number before. Now we have a design system in which 24 is the standard text length. If any, raise your hand if you've worked on design systems. You know what design systems are? Cool, excellent. So yeah, was that funny? Anyways, so we have this input that can collect some stuff. I can actually wire this to show the text over here. So I could, for example, show whatever name is there right now in here. So whatever you're typing up there is what's coming down over here. So I will move it back to Sam. And what else? Everybody loves buttons. Some people like to press buttons. I'm one of that person as well that likes to press buttons. I'll more normally press browser buttons, but right now I'll press a native button. A button is a button in this. It also comes from the React Native module. You saw that it got imported up there. And sure, let's just go with that. It thinks I'm in web. That's how webby this technology is. Alert does not exist. It is alert module and then alert that will do something. So here's the button that's begging to be clicked and it shows hello. But you can see that it looks awful, right? So let's style this. Let's try to style this and nope, don't have a style property. That's because nobody actually uses the button. The button is the default native platform buttons, but if you haven't noticed, nobody uses the native look and feel of buttons on any app anymore. So what you can do is you can create something better, which is like you can go low level, you could go pressable, which actually gives you complete control over pressable doesn't take a title. So what I can do is pressable can be used to wrap any UI that you might have. So you can have a button that's styled like text now, and on press it'll alert hello. So this button, which is this one, when I'm clicking that, it's pressing hello. It's displaying hello, but that doesn't look very clickable, right? Or rather, actually, yeah, you could style it to, you can, let me just style it a bit. So style, I'll do the same thing, which everybody does on their first GeoCities website, which is how am I doing for time? Yes, I'm doing good. Border, and I will go border width, oops, width, and 10, because that's what exists in our design system. And you can see that it's a bit, the hit area is a bit more marked. But normally, like, you'll style it the way you want it button to be, but I still don't see the interaction, the satisfaction of having clicked on Sam. How do I get that satisfaction? Well, he's riding right next to you. You could click him over there, or I can turn this pressable into a highlight, touchable highlight, which touchable opacity. So highlight exists as well, but opacity exists as well. Highlight is a bit of a harder concept to explain, so I'll use opacity. Everybody understands opacity. It'll become a transparent when it's being pressed. Cool. You saw that this Sam gets a bit disappears from the frame and then comes back in. That's what else? I've already talked about Metro. I don't know what's happening here. When in doubt, add a new console log. Hello. And if you see nothing between those logs, it means that this error existed at some point, but it is no longer there. It's out of sight, out of mind. And that's it. Let's restart the app. Why not? Any questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just one question, Basrat. I'm wondering with export, how do you export an APK or an IPA file for testing?
Yes, so you can export an APK, and so you can export it locally as well. I could run expo. Let me find that actually. So if I go expo build, I'm building this course expo for React Native. I can show this to you. A lot of the lessons are already there, and you can build it locally as well. Build binaries locally, and what you do is it's basically EAS build and pass in the platform iOS and say local. Then you'll use your local resources. But it offers a cloud service as well, and that's what most people use. It's like 30 builds a month are free, which is fine for private projects, and then they have licensing for companies as well. You don't necessarily have to use Expo. You can use bare metal React as well. But if the question was specifically for Expo, yes, which it was, you can build it locally if you have the Xcode and Android Studio installed, just -- local flag.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm guessing you also need like the dev certificates for iOS and whatnot. You can't just.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So you will need an account with Google Play Store account, as well as the App Store developer license or something. I don't know the exact term, but the Apple developer account, which means that you'll get an email every year for WWDC that you can ignore, and you will also get the ability to create dev certificates.
Yeah, I have a question. I always use React Native, I think, based startup, I don't know, the React Native one, and I never use Expo. Do you suggest to use it, or which I should prefer? Which is the...
So Yeah, I actually work for a company that is building a React Native application that is about to launch. It'll launch within the next 2 months or something. It's more of a licensing thing, not a developer block at this point. But so we are using bare metal React. We are not using Expo. But if I had to pick today, I would pick Expo. Expo has improved dramatically since like even in the past 2 years. An example of that is it used to lag behind a bit by the React Native bleeding edge. It has caught up. A lot of packages, like even the auth0 package, did not support Expo, but now it does. So like the critical packages that were blocking our path, they're all supported by Expo as well. And finally, you can actually build native code using Expo as well. Expo has now this feature that allows you to create a slightly, so the Expo Go app, the thing that's actually running over here, so even on the emulator, it's actually running Expo Go, as you can see over here. So Expo now provides a shell of this app that you can modify as well. So you can still have the full control of all the native functionality if you needed to. I think my camera has perhaps overheated because it's shut down. Yep. Next question, if any.
Anyone? All good. Thank you, Basrat. Amazing.
Thank you for having me. I'll head out and I'll have dinner now.
Please go ahead. Thank you very much for that. We really appreciate it. It's fantastic. Good job.
Thank you for inviting me, Sam. Bye.
Welcome. Jesse, come on over.
Hello everyone. My name is Jesse Jiang. I'm lead consulting from Telstra Purple. So today in the night I want to share an open source project called the Comet. A quick question: anyone on the team can see the PowerPoint, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And yeah, I just want to lead the introduction about the background about Xamarin and MAUI. Xamarin is a cross-platform tool created by Microsoft. But unfortunately, it will be end of support of next year, which means in next year, May of next year, Apple Store will be reject all applications which build without Xamarin. That is a big thing. So we have to move into next platform called MAUI. And very thankful Microsoft gave us the opportunity to let our customer upgrade the apps, and we created the job for that. And the MAUI is the next version of the Xamarin, and the Comet project is based on the MAUI, and it's use the MVU pattern. So just want to explain why I choose the Comet and why it's MUV. So I have a theory. I believe UI is a dynamic stuff. We cannot use a static markup to describe a dynamic thing. So we can see the history of the front-end development at the very beginning, and maybe 13 years ago, it's all HTML content. It's all static thing. And then, which is most can be developed. We can say, okay, we need more the interaction with the HTML. We have JavaScript that can just doing the integration with the static content, and we showing the dynamic content into the front end. But in this case, our code will be get very massive because there is a lot of logic, there is a lot of content. So our smart engineering just thinking, okay, we need a framework to resolve this problem. So we come into the two branch. One is the React, like React Native, React, or Vue.js. They are all the similar thing. Another is AngularJS. AngularJS is based on bounding, which is very similar with the demo, which is the MVV model. And in this case, MAUI just use the MVV pattern, but it doesn't have MUV pattern. So that's the reason I want to doing the Comet thing. Okay, so I believe in the future, developer need to face to develop or web coding instead of face machine to coding. Why we want to say that? So if we go back to like maybe 20 years ago, the computer is slow, everything, memory is small. So all the developer need to think very hard to make the programming running so fast. Have you think about what is the essential of the coding? my understanding is just we are the interpreter between the machine and the human being, because we want to talking the PC to calculation, but PC don't understand the human language. So we are interpreter. We just translate the human being logical into the coding. So this is our job. So at maybe 10 years ago, our job is very hard, very challenging, because we need thinking exactly machine to thinking. So that is the C+ language developing at the moment. It's hard to read, but in the future, it's not necessary, because the PC is very powerful. It's enough to understand more human beings' language. So I believe in the future, coding should be very easy to reading. So that in that case, maybe reading your code is not developer, maybe some AI. So I think in the future, all the coding language should very be easy. So that is the reason I just want to write in the MUV pattern. So this is the example. The first one, on the top one, is a very standard of the MUV pattern in the MAUI. So if you guys know about the Xamarin stuff, you can understand. So this is the demo code described in the UI. The task is very simple. We just want to show in the date format into the specific format, like date, year, because C# language cannot just print the date straight away. So we need to print in specific format. So in this case, we need to convert it. So convert the logic in here. It's very, for the beginner, it's very hard to understand, okay, why I just want to print the date, why we need to convert, we need to bounding stuff. But in the MUV pattern, just single line. It explain anything. We have a date, we have a string format. It's very straightforward. So let's go back to topic I just say. In the future, I believe we should fit in develop to the coding. So that is the thing we can understand, and maybe AI can understand, but this thing is too hard. Okay, so this is the project link. So this is a little bit tricky. This is the below one is the official link from the .NET, but the thing is the maintainer called James Clancy, he left the Microsoft last year. So this project nobody to maintain. I trying to contribute. I create some PR to that one, but few people want to review and watch it. And then I talked to the project manager of the MAUI. So I want to continue. I think this project have future. I want to continue the contribution. And what should I do? He just tell me, okay, you can just fork the branch, fork the repo. So that is the repo I forked, and I trying to maintain this repo. So if anyone interested, just take picture and go to that one, go to the repo. Okay, so here is a quick demo about how to set up the commit. To launch the commit, the first one you need to hold on. So first one you need to initialize the MAUI environment. The MAUI environment, the quick way you just install the Visual Studio Mac on your computer and set up everything. If you can launch the application straight away and the Visual is working. And here's the working load. You can hold on. Sorry. Sorry, just something I cannot control. Oh, okay, so in here. So as I said, I already forked the repo, so I also create a new template. So if you want to initialize, so you need to install the my template, and you can just install the template, and then you can just create a new, and it will be launched. And also, if we can use the Visual Studio Code for development, and also I just maintain this plugin to support you to daily development. And in here, we just choose a platform. Currently, we choose the Mac, and we use debug, and then just debug, and it's working. So this template, I just doing a very quick demo about click button, and the UI will be updated. And yeah, click button, you will be updated. And we go back to source code. It's very simple. There's a button, there's a text, and we just based on the logical. It's very similar with React Native, something like that, because this is a MUI pattern. Also, there is a hot loading feature. Yeah, like in this hot loading, we can just change the text, and even we can change the logical. Like for example, we can change the logical from theory. So all the C# file in this folder, include logical, what wheel model, we can change and enable hot loading. So yeah, that is a very quick demo about the Comet project. Any questions so far? No? Any question online? Okay. So one more thing. Well, I actually thought, in this year we have so many things. One is short me the ChatGPT. When I first use ChatGPT, I think, oh, that is a chatbot. I think not serious. But when I say, okay, it can coding, I thought, let me try. I have some customer use a very legit project called VB.NET. Let's just make me crazy because I don't understand the VB.NET syntax, and I want to modify something. And then I ask ChatGPT to help me. Okay, can you just understand this code logical? And ChatGPT do that. And also I want to add a feature. I don't know how to write VB.NET. I write C# code. I asked ChatGPT to translate to VB, and he did, and it worked. I was shocked. Oh, okay, this is amazing. And in my daily work, like I have so many customers. They are using different platforms, different language. Sometimes I need to PowerShell script. I ask GPT to do that. I need to circle through query. I ask GPT to do that. This is fantastic. So that really shocked me. And I think, what if we can use ChatGPT to do something? And I'm a developer. Most thing I hate is document. I hate writing document. I hate reading document. The funny thing is that I write a document. I tell another developer, you should do this one, this one, this one. He never read it. He just asked me, oh, Jesse, how do I do? I say, I read the document. He don't want to read it. He just want simple answers to the way. The same with me. I read the document. I want to, for example, I create a button. I need to change the background color. And I say, search all documents. I couldn't find it. I have to search the source code and understand what's going on. So I'm thinking, if AI can help me, I ask a question and he give me all the answer. So this is a tool I just implemented recently. I ask a question, create a login page with 2 entries and 1 button, and it did. And the amazing thing is I just say, okay, this is login page. AI can understand, okay, the first column is the username, and second column is last name, and there's a button. And to achieve this, I have used filter. One is Azure OpenAI, AKI. If you use OpenAI, it's the same thing. You just need to API key to get access. Another thing is the semantic kernel. So semantic kernel is Microsoft production. It's a wrapper to access OpenAI or Azure OpenAI. Just you can use this one to create a function, create a data binding, something like that. So I just use that one. So here is the demo. Another cool thing I found is the Jupyter notebook. So first time I touched the Jupyter notebook from Python, but I found it can support the C#. I think it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. And yeah, so first one, definitely you need to set up API key into the config file, and then you need to install the semantic kernel NuGet, and then just initialize the kernel, and then we can just choose what is the module, and then I need to feed in the AI all the sample code. In here, I just feed in a sample code. I didn't put all the source code because I need to pay. I just only choose. This is the sample code in the repository you can find by yourself, but it's all the simple about how to use the button, how to use the list view, blah blah blah. It's all in there. And then I just doing the promote. This is the key thing. We need to do the promote, and then I can ask a question, create a button. So this is working. And even I want to say, oh, create a button with some different color, like change background color, change front color. And yeah, it did, like background and the text color. This code is only happening in Comet, not copied from other place. Like OpenAI trains in the whole history data. It's all code from Comet. It's all syntax is from Comet. And then I just want to create a challenge task, like create a login page with 2 input and 1 button. And it works. So yeah, that's pretty much, I just want to go to next. Yeah, that's pretty much I want to share today. Any question? Any question online? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Jesse. It's really cool. Really cool to see MVU. Everybody online, thank you very much for your attendance. We'll publish this on YouTube as per normal. We'll be back next month as well. Speakers TBC, but it'll be another thrilling event of Sydney Modern Apps. So thank you very much, everybody.